Hello, my name is Brad, and this is my video for IUR 190, assignment number 7. So I'm going to be talking about prior art and obviousness. So I looked at two different videos. One talked about prior art searches, and the other was made by a lawyer who has his own firm called Rich Goldstein. He has attained over 1,500 patents. So the first video talked about a prior art search. So a prior art search is when you're looking for past information that is in the public domain. It can be in internet or on the internet in books, magazines, or it can be in published patent applications. But one thing that came to mind for me was obviously there's a lot of different places to look for prior art. So who kind of has the job of doing this, and how do they actually make sure they find all of the prior art on the internet, books, magazines, all these different places? So I did a quick search and looked at some things, and it turns out that there's obviously like hundreds of millions of books that have been published. There have been about 9 million patents filed in the U.S., so you have to go through all those. And then there's a few hundred or a few billion internet domains. So there's a lot of different information to search through, and that's mostly done by patent filers, patent offices, and lawyers. But in terms of what is obviousness, so obviousness is, I think it's best represented if we look at like kind of a graphical description of it. So this video describes it really well, I think, and it basically says if you have two sets of things, so set A and set B, and set A is a thing of is a set of known things, and set B is like the new invention. If set B overlaps on part of set A, the old known things, then that part is obvious, so would not be patentable. But if the new invention set B, if the entire invention overlaps with set A and maybe set C, which is another past prior art, and maybe set D, which is also past prior art, but it doesn't elaborate on anything new, so it overlaps with all three of those, then the entire invention is considered obvious and it's not patentable. So in other words, your invention has to expand on past prior art. It has to elaborate on it in some way. It can't just simply take prior art from invention A, invention B, and invention C and call it a new invention. You have to somehow expand on that or elaborate on that. So obviousness is not what you would think of in the traditional sense when you're looking at patent law. So it's more like what I said earlier. If your entire invention is found within the prior art of two or more past inventions, say invention A and invention B, then this prior art search is known as obviousness. So that kind of wraps up obviousness, prior art searches, and all that. So thank you for listening.